Welcome, everybody, to another exciting episode of Lightworkers Connect. Happy November 1st. Happy All Saints Day. Happy Day of the Dead. Whatever it is that you're celebrating, today really is a day of celebration. It's a day of synchronicity. It's a day when the veils between the worlds and the consciousness levels are so thin. We can make big jumps and big shifts in our life today. And dude, you guys know how excited I am to have my new friend Brad Johnson here today. I want to share with you guys how I met Brad, because it was talk about synchronicity. Brad came into my awareness, and then very quickly I jumped in his circle and was like, I need to meet this guy. I want to be in that energy, and I want to bring him to you guys. So a friend of mine had sent a video and said, hey, check this guy out. Mike's in the house. What's up, Mike? To check this guy out on his YouTube channel. And I watched one of Brad's videos and I was captivated. And you guys know when you run across somebody who is speaking a truth that you're resonating with so strongly, that's exactly the experience I had. I watched one video after another, and I was getting these messages saying, Emily, you need to get on his schedule and to book a session with him and to be in his energy. And so I followed that. I did. And I have to tell you that, man, it was like the insight that I got during my session with Brad was amazing. The downloads I got afterwards, the aha moments that kept coming in, the different layers, the deep layers of insight that I was receiving did not disappoint me. It was so profound. And I'm glad I had the guts to ask Brad to come be on my show at the end of that session, because he said yes. And I'm super excited to introduce Brad Johnson to you guys here today. So Brad, say hello to everybody and tell us a little bit about you.
Well, hello, everybody. Thank you very much, Emily, for having me on the show today. I really appreciate it. Yes, well, as you may know, my name is Brad Johnson. I basically have a website called realitywhisperer.com. It's going to be changing here in the next little while. It's going to be called New Earth Teachings. So it's kind of going in a transition stage right now, but the website is still up. But basically, I've been doing this since 2008. I was getting into meditation. I was really looking into it a lot further, because it all started with just a science fiction novel. I was a writer back then, and still am a writer right now, but a different type of writer. And I started to look more into the extraterrestrial presence. I wanted to know more about what that was really going on. And so I just started doing a lot of research online. And through all the research I found through channelers, through psychics, through Black Ops, community personnel, etc., is that meditation was the key to being able to enter these new realms of consciousness, meet these incredible beings beyond our world, and they all believed in a one infinite consciousness, a one infinite creator. And this was really exciting to me. And so I decided just to put the novel aside and started to go into meditation, started looking into what this was all about, because I had never done meditation prior to that time. And then I just started expanding and going deeper into these realms of consciousness. I just took out a book from the library called Learn How to Meditate. And I get so many people saying, well, Brad, what's the name of that book? I want to do it because maybe they'll think they'll have the same experience that I did. It wasn't really that grand of a book. It was it was a mediocre kind of book, but just very basic meditation practices. But I would go very, very deeply into it. My pineal gland was on fire back then. It still is pretty much on fire now. But I would go into almost like these video games, like the first-person shooter experiences, except I wasn't shooting anybody. I was going through these mazes. I was connecting with these very large crystals that were hovering. And they were like download nodes, and I would basically connect them, and I would feel this energy just surging through my body. And then I would go to sleep at night, and I'd wake up knowing things I didn't know before. I'd basically be enthralled into this non-physical classroom, teaching me all about love and kindness and oneness, universal mechanics, how everything was attracting and repelling. So all of this required many years to get all the full downloads off all of these dream states that I was going through. And it wasn't until around December of 2008 that I started to connect with Adronis, the being that I channel. That I got into channeling around September of 2000. September, October, somewhere around there. And I started doing what's known as automatic writing, or channeled writing as I call it now, and just started connecting with these collective consciousnesses and started getting an understanding more about how the universe is one, how we're all interconnected, all the nice, beautiful stuff that they would share. And through channeling, I got into remote viewing, I got into energy healing, I got into the Akashic Records, I got into everything. I wanted to know everything about it. And so there was always this new exploration that I was doing on a daily basis. And where I am right now, it's just that you develop much more of a humility into a lot of these things that are coming together, because you see how they all connect back to the one road. They all connect back to the one source. And so there's more of a humility because what I'm doing right now is still exploring certain things, but I know that it's all just leading back to the same road, the source, but just in its unique way, and seeing how that's just all incorporating into myself. So I've just really had an incredible journey these past 9-10 years. I've had a lot of ups and downs, but I'm thankful for those downs as well too, because when we basically see the shadow aspects of ourselves, they're not evil. They're not meant to have something, you know, looked away at. Their whole idea is that these are vaults that are within ourselves, and basically when we attract antagonists into our lives, then basically it's telling us, hey, there's something here that we have left behind and lack. And so now we can take what has been opened through our love and start going into those vaults and opening them up and bringing light to that, because no one can love you more than you.
Yes.
And that's the grandest experience of them all, right? You're the greatest lover. You're the greatest partner. You're the greatest best friend. You're the greatest family member you could ever ask for. And everybody else around you is just playing a game, helping you to be a catalyst, helping you to open up yourself, whether they be protagonist or antagonist. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you're all learning how deeply you can love yourself.
I love this. I could interject and say a million things as you're going along. So much synchronicity. I know that many of us out there, yeah, see Trisha saying that's right. He summed it up, didn't he? So many of us out there, I feel like, and I know a lot of personally the people who come on here, because I've reached out and I've had conversations with you guys, getting to know you and what's going on your spiritual path. And I know many of us are experiencing those downloads in the dreams and being in that etheric classroom where we're understanding cosmic knowledge in a deeper way. It happened to me a couple nights after my session with you. And in one particular night, I remember they were like unraveling the mysteries of the universe in a way that made so much sense. And I'm like, yes, I'm getting this. And of course, I didn't write any of it down because it seemed so perfectly clear in my dream state. But I'll be honest, I didn't retain as much of it as I wanted to when I came into the waking state the next morning. But I know that it was downloaded within me. And I know it's a part of me in there. And I feel like a lot of us are experiencing that. How many of you guys say yes out there? If you're out there, raise your hand. Tell us yes if you're experiencing downloads and energy and new ideas and new understandings coming in your dream state. I feel like it's really important to recognize this as it's happening. The more and more of us that speak out about it and talk about it, the more we can share and help people recognize when the awakening process is happening. Anne says yes. This is what it looks like. It doesn't look the exact same for every person, but these elements this is what it looks like. This is what your awakening looks like. So having a safe space where you can acknowledge that about yourself is one of the key aspects to learning to love ourselves, really. I was watching this cool brain video the other day and talking about how important it is for each one of us to feel like we fit in. And that actually gives our soul a space of growth like nothing else. If you feel like you don't fit in and no one understands you, it's very hard to grab onto that safety and security feeling of really loving yourself and expressing who you are. So this is the space to do it, guys. Share with us what's going on in your own process of the physical awakening, the consciousness awakening that you're experiencing. And while you guys are typing in your stories, Brad, let's talk a little bit more about the idea of channel writing. That's something that I love to do as well. Again, synchronicity is part of my process. Mm-hmm. I read the book before I learned the Akashic Records. My awakening process had started many years before that, but once I learned a modality, that's when I really had a quantum jump. But I remember probably 7 or 8 years before I learned the Akashic Records, I read Conversations with God. And this is where Neil Donald Walsh would basically pose a grand question of the universe. And without editing himself, just allow the information and the knowledge to come in as he was receiving it. And I thought, well, one, I thought it was very, very cool, but then I also thought I could do that. And so I started doing some channel writing myself. Tell us what your process looked like and like how you did it. And were you stunned by the information that you were getting when it was coming through?
When I first did it, yeah, I was very, very stunned because the channel writing I got was it was a very simplistic flow. It was effortless, right? A lot of people think that when they go into channeling, they need to have some sort of euphoric, out-of-body experience, blissful moments hit them as soon as they start channeling an entity, and that just hasn't been my experience. It's been very, very casual. It's been very, very calm. It's been very flowing and subtle. So basically, when you're connecting with other intelligences, they are subtle energy. Everything within the universe in regards to pure love is that of subtle energy. And if you're highly emotional, if you're very high strung and you're excited, let's say, okay, we're happy you're excited, but we'll wait till you're calming down a little bit. And then you're going to go into that streamline. And now you're receptive to their energy, right? Because these beings, you have to kind of look at them very similar. If you're looking to higher dimensional beings of loving consciousness, they're like Zen monks, right? They're not here to party and you know, throwing all these heavy emotions everywhere, etc. They're very, very calm, right? And so you're basically just aligning to that energy as well. And so when you are in sync, basically what's referred to as lockstep vibration, in channeling, you're in sync, and then all of a sudden you're receiving the flow. You have an urge to write. You have an urge to write something down. Some people who go into trance would basically allow their hand to just move spontaneously and start creating diagrams or start putting words down. That's if you're going into like deeper states of trance. And a lot of people are asking about that and saying, should my hand like automatically move? I said, no, automatic writing in that context would relate to more like trance writing, right? So if you're basically in deep states of trance, and you're actually feeling your hand move, and then you're getting all this information down. But there is what's known as conscious channeled writing, which is what I do. And so basically all you're doing is you're feeling that urge to write. So if you're basically saying, okay, what is the meaning of the universe? And they're basically telling you there is no meaning. There is only a nature of the universe, right? So, oh, okay, that's something that's pretty powerful, right? And that's a true statement, right? The whole idea is that we always look for meaning, and really it's all about nature. It's coming into nature, because that's how you find balance. You can't find balance through meaning. You can only find balance through nature. So with the aspect of the channeled writing, information that comes together, yeah, it's just going with the flow. It's very subtle. It's very calming, and you just have that feeling to write. Anybody can do this, but it's a practice like anybody else. If you want to learn how to be an artist, you have to learn how to paint. If you want to learn how to swim, you got to learn how to swim, right? To be a professional swimmer, to be a professional musician, you know how to play. You have to learn how to play an instrument. So the same thing goes with this. It's a skill set. It's a trait that we all have, but we have to continue to practice. And really, how that works is that we need to spend more time in the inner world than in the outer world. And that's basically going back to where everything is. So we're this divine carousel that's projecting all of these frames that represent our reality. And the outside world is just the screen. It's no more different than if we wanted to change something, we're not going to get out of our chair, go up to the theater screen, take out a marker, and start drawing on the screen. It's not going to work, right? It may seem like something's happening, but all you're doing is just drawing on a picture that's being broadcast from your inner carousel. You need to go inside yourself. You need to look into the carousel images that you're projecting, and then being able to refine them and allow that to broadcast within your reality. So therefore, you're getting something externally that's coming together. So I mean, that's really how it is when you're going into channeling. It's about walking your talk. It's about being able to look into these messages and seeing how they're impacting you. But like I said, all you're doing is learning how to unlock your own love, how to unlock your own confidence with yourself, your own certainties, and the universe is yours entirely. Basically, you'll just create so much love, you won't want to touch anything. You're just like, this is all mine, but I don't need to touch it, because there's nothing that I want anymore. There's nothing that I need anymore. I'm just here. I'm just being in that sense, and that this is a hologram with other souls that are here and playing together parts that represent catalysts of myself, and I'm just playing with this beautiful game.
I love that. And there are actually some very sophisticated scientific formulas and breakdowns where they can somehow scientifically prove that this is a holographic projection. Am I correct in that? It's a little above my level of being able to fully grasp and understand.
But I have kind of a simple saying that I say too, is that complexity creates distortion. Simplicity creates purity, right? That's the best way to understand. So if you want to play with scientific aspects and scientific logic and all that stuff, great, have fun with that. But you're just going through a lot of distortions and you're complicating something that doesn't need to be complicated. It's kind of like looking into some of these ancient gurus and mystics. They're not here to tell you about a scientific thesis, right? They're not here to tell you, this is what you have to do after this, and then go on this whiteboard and then draw pi over 3 and blah, 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 right? They don't do that. They're just saying, if you truly want to understand the universe, open your heart up. And the scientists are boggled and saying, wait a minute, what are you telling me? You have to open up my heart. Oh, that's illogical, right? So basically, if you bring complexity into the aspect, you're utilizing distortion to basically try and get certain understandings that will continue to funnel you like a hamster on a wheel for eternity. And you'll get certain truths out of it, absolutely. But then you come into feeling. And feeling is the idea of simplicity. Simplicity is just understanding everything because you see how it all ties back into you as a subjective observer. And that is what's going to bring fulfillment to you on a much more divine, accelerated level, because you're not caring about meaning. You're here with nature, and you are nature. And that's what's going to bring so much happiness and love and joy to yourself as you understand nature over meaning.
Yeah, can I get an amen up in here? I love it. I love the way you put it into words. I hope you guys are having the same just like mind firing off experiences that I'm having, because I like on so many levels, I get what you're saying. It makes deeper sense and illuminates more for me what my purpose is here on the planet, because I'm really all about keeping it simple. But I'm a smart girl too. I have a good amount of intellect going on, and sometimes the ego will come into play for me, and I'll be like, but I want to understand these mathematical concepts. Like I want to get it so that I can explain it to somebody, anybody who would want to try to debunk it.
Because you want to light mental dynamite. That's the whole idea, right? The mental dynamite wants to go off. The logic is saying, I got all these fireworks ready. I got the flame here. Come on, let's just explode my mind with all of these complexities. Okay, go ahead. Go and light the fuse and have fun with all that explosion. I'll be here in a state of simplicity, always observing fireworks. Right? Because I am the fireworks, because I am all of that which represents that. So you can absolutely play with complexity, and believe me, I have a logical mind as well too. Sometimes I like to play with it as well too. But what I've realized is that simplicity, it's simplistically complex. And basically that's all based upon choice, is you're utilizing the simplicity of your feelings to generate the establishment of what we could consider to be logical systems. And that's what we're going through here with all of these logical systems. So channeled writing in that sense can bring about great technical information. I've had scientists that have connected with me, have connected with Adronis, and asking a lot of these scientific questions. I've had, connecting to the Akashic Records. I'm looking into all these complex machines, and I've seen them, right? And it's great, and it's fun. It's mind candy for all that. Yeah. And there's times where I want to play with that as well too, because it's a lot of fun. But then you just come back into your love. You come back into your center, and you realize, I already know everything that is above that which represents the logic. But I'm just happy being here and being part of everything. And that is where everything becomes revealed, rather than having to create these little burrowing worms into the dirt to try and create, well, what's happening, what's here, what's happening here, what's happening here. And this dirt is never ending, and you're just continuing to create tunnels. Whereas you can be simplistic in the idea of following your feelings, and now you understand everything without having to lift one strand of dirt, one bit of hair, one bit of whatever it is that you're basically attempting to uncover, right? So that's just all part of the aspect, is that the creation itself will allow you to be simple in feeling or logical, and that they all combine together and they lead to the same path. Just one's a lot quicker, one just would take forever.
Yes, I love it. You guys, my third eye is going off like crazy. It almost feels like it's twitching out of my head as Brad talks. One reason why I love hanging out with you and just hearing what you have to say, because your energy ignites other things, other consciousness. It wakes up things inside of me. So I hope you guys are having that experience as well. Brad, what did you do before this? Before you became the person that you're sharing with us today? Like what'd your life look like before that?
I was in the internet marketing. I was doing computer work. I was like a technical specialist with computers. So I was building computers. I was working on them. I was even doing some filmmaking as well too. I was actually working on video games as well too. But yeah, a lot of internet marketing and all that. So basically a lot of that kind of retransformed itself into helping me align to the business that I'm doing right now. So basically, with all that stuff, it's not like saying that I've just wasted my life with all of that. No, it accumulates together into what you're becoming right now, and aids you in regards to the new learning that you're developing. So yeah, I've had those kind of technical experiences, and I was a very logical person. I was not into meditation. I was not into the aspect of spirituality. Like, I was born a Jehovah's Witness in that way, right? And I hated the religion.
Facts to know and tell. I love it. Yes.
And when I was a teenager, I said, to hell with this. I'm done with this. I'm not doing this anymore. I can't stand how they're so judgmental against people. If you're not part of the faith, then you're basically looking down on the worldly people. And everybody there just felt like snobs. It felt like more of a cult than a religion in that way. But that was my old feeling. I've completely, forgiven that aspect of it now, realizing it was all part of my upbringing. But back then, that's exactly how I felt about it. And then I just kind of went on my own path and just, it wasn't like I was an atheist. I knew that God existed. I just didn't want to represent him the way some of these religions do. And so it wasn't until I had that experience of wanting to write this novel and then going into meditation that my spiritual journey, my awakening began.
Yeah, we begin to love those experiences because we realize those were the teachers, those were the catalysts that put us on the path. That seeing and being a part of a community where people were looked down on, when you're so about love, like your being just emanates what you've talked about many times on this broadcast with us about loving yourself and being in that state of bringing it back to source and oneness. This was a perfect opportunity for you to put you in that path of discovering that about yourself and sharing that with people. Mm-hmm. And my past, so synchronous. I mean, everything about Hollywood and storytelling and being on camera, and for me, learning to get on stage and allow a character to come through me was part of my training in the channeling process. It taught me to get out of my own way and allow those subtle energies to take over, and I could detect the subtle energies because I was out of my own way because I had that experience. So take a look, guys, at what has your past prepared you for? I think that when we begin to see those patterns in our own life, we begin to have more of those firings off, those aha moments, and it becomes more clear. So take this time right now, while I've been preaching this all day, while the veil is thin, while these concepts are more easily grasped onto right now because of the thinning of the veils that we're experiencing at this season. I mean, it's autumn, so it's a time of reflection. It's November 1st. It's this day when collectively, depending on what you're celebrating, the veils between the worlds are thin. It is the full moon coming up when we take a look at and we examine what's going on in our life and what we want to release. So take this time to take a look at yourself, see what's really happening on your journey of awakening. Because I'm guaranteeing that if you're on this call, you are experiencing many of the synchronicities that Brad and I have talked about in terms of what it looks like when this process of awakening is happening to you. So acknowledge it, because when you acknowledge it, you get more of it. And I have one final question for you, Brad, before you tell us all about your services and the way that we can get in touch with you. But tell us a little bit, like in your vision, what does it look like when humanity actually begins to make this shift into that state of love and oneness? Like when enough of us get there, what is the future hold for us in this new earth that we're creating?
You won't even know that you're actually being a new earth. That's actually the funny thing about it. And a lot of people aren't going to realize it. There's going to be a lot of solar activity that's going to take place. So we're going to see like a lot more coronal mass ejections. They basically say that the sun is at a solar minimum right now. And so basically it's going to be in the next few years that a lot of the solar activity is going to be intense, like majorly intense, and basically it'll just come to the point where there's just this large solar maximum and the earth is just going to get hit with all of this energy. And so basically between now and 2024, the being that I channel, Jonas, has basically called this the span of change. And that between these next 8 years, we're basically seeing incredible shifts taking place within all of the aspects of our life, from sociological, political, governmental, financial changes. Our own personal lives are going to be going through uproars. I couldn't even really begin to tell, how many people are going through different types of shifts in their own unique way. But really what it is that we're like snakes shedding our skin. We're just taking all of this stuff and we're making sure that we're resolving our own baggage. And the more lighter that we can become, the more easier it would feel that this particular transition is. If you're basically going through a lot of these emotional states, if you're feeling that you're just in an uproar, carrying all these bags, then you're going to have some really, really hefty tremors coming together as we continue down this road. So it's really, really important that you're just spending time with yourself, that you're doing a lot of clearing with yourself as well too. I've certainly been doing clearing with myself because I've had past relationships that have not gone so well as well, and I've realized that I was very much a wanting of acceptance type person, a wanting of being acknowledged type person. And so I've been learning past a lot of that as well too. And again, realizing, like what I've said, is that you're your best partner, you're your best friend, you're your best family member, and everybody else that's around you is just a complement catalyst to that energy. So really just put this time into feeling a great welfare with yourself and going through this incredible shift, you're going to notice when these things are going to come together. You're going to notice all these changes that are happening. A lot of dirt has to be brought to the surface. A lot of roots have to be pulled from the garden. And we're going to see a lot of nasty roots that are coming together, but that's all part and parcel of us reshaping ourselves. You know, the whole idea is that humanity has had a lot of complacency with itself over the many years. And so we're basically kind of getting this light tap in the butt and now saying, this is what we need to work on. This is what we need to transform and transmute so that we can truly see that we have been the ones that we've been waiting for, right? We have been the ones that are actually now starting to realize the power of our own love and capabilities. And we start to rely upon ourselves. This world is going to be more beautiful than you can ever possibly imagine.
I'm so excited. Yes. Okay. Tell everybody, please, if you will, where they can get a hold of you. Actually, I know already. I'm going to go ahead and put that up the screen. I'm not going to pretend like I don't know. It's realitywhisperer.com. But share with everybody who hasn't explored your website yet, what kind of services you offer, what kind of classes, what kind of opportunities when people want to get in touch with you more.
Yeah, there's private sessions that I do, the 15-minute, 30-minute, or 60-minute private sessions that I do through Skype or through phone. I connect with, again, the being known as Adronis. He's an aspect of my higher self. He exists within the star of Sirius A. I've also channeled quite a few other beings as well, too, so you can check out my YouTube. I just connected with an inner earth being the other day as well, too, and did what's known as an empathic interfacing, so that might be something you may want to check out. I also do what's known as light circuitry attunements, and that's basically instant healing, and that's basically working with your emotional levels and helping to harmonize with any traumas that have been within you. And again, that's all part and parcel of the process of elevating your consciousness to the next level. I also do Akashic Records sessions as well too. So connecting to the Akashic Records. It's going to be changed once I get into the New Earth Teachings website that's going to be coming. They're going to be called Spiral Akashic Viewing Sessions. And we're not just going to be looking into one life. We're going to be looking into the conglomerate of all lifetimes that is relevant to you at this particular time for you to know about. So it's going to be much more vast in that particular way. So that'll be coming once I get the New Earth Teachings website, which is coming out sometime in November.
Yeah, wonderful work, my friend. Thank you for being who you are. Thank you for showing up in this space today. Thank you for being so much in your soul purpose and sharing, because even though there are people who make it look easy, and you're somebody who makes it look easy, but I know firsthand that there's a lot of behind the scenes work that it takes to create these videos, to share them, to take care of yourself in a way that allows you to show up for the rest of us. And so I just want to say thank you for that. I appreciate you and I honor you for being here. And I also want to honor all of you guys out there watching for caring about this state that you're in, where you're absorbing all of this amazing information, where you're allowing yourself to be open and come into new ideas and new people and new light workers who can ignite different layers of your own consciousness. So I'm proud of you for sticking on this journey, embarking on it. It's fun and it's exciting. And like Brad said, at times it's hard, because I can tell you I've pulled a few of those master roots that you talked about. Those have been exposed to me, and I've pulled them from my own garden this week. I get excited about those level of aha moments, though, because I understand the power that waits on the other side of figuring it out and plucking out those limiting subconscious beliefs that we're playing about ourselves. I also want to tell you guys, I think that I've lost the ability to see your comments, which happens sometimes when we are, using technology in the live internet. So I apologize if I haven't acknowledged your comments. Haven't seen any coming in, but you better believe I'm going to go back and answer your comments as they're posted in the replay of this. I invite you to share this out with your friends. If you found value in this today, make sure you reach out to Brad, follow his YouTube page, share his YouTube videos, and share this with your friends and family, because it's a very exciting time. You are not here by any accident. This is information that has ignited and expanded you today. So I'm proud of you for showing up, and keep sharing the message out, everybody. Namaste. We'll see you back here again.
Thank you. Remember, be part of your soul nature, not your soul purpose. Big thing.
That's good stuff. I love it. Wait, say it again. That was good. Say it one more time so you can
be a part of your soul nature, not your soul purpose.
Yes.
That's important.
Because there is no purpose or meaning to being here. There's only the nature.
The inventions that you create are the purpose.
Yes.
The aspect of you being nature allows you to be open to everything. Everything and nothing. Nothing and everything. That's
I love
nature.
it. Yeah. Yes. All right, everybody. Whew. take that one away with you. Go get some lunch. Go do some grounding after this. Make sure you connect with planet Earth. Make sure that you get all of this energy that has very much ignited your higher chakras today. Make sure you bring that in through your light body, ground it into the planet so that you have this as a part of you. This is going to wake up further cellular memory inside of each of you. So thank you all. Namaste.
Thank you. Take care.